Hi all, welcome to this chapter on date and time. So it's a very simple topic. There is nothing much to explain. There are few APIs that you got to know. Okay, so I will introduce you to those APIs, and it would hardly be a 15 to 20 minute session, and that is the reason I decided to record this video and share it with you. Okay, so it's a very simple. It's more simple than you actually expect. Okay, so let me start off. First thing is you have to know that there are you must know this, right? So first one is you have time, you have date time, okay, and you have calendar. Okay, so I have also given what are all these. Okay, if you can see here, time is basically a module. Okay, and within this module you have specific functions like sleep. I mean, there are many functions. I've only written the most frequently used ones. Okay, so you have sleep function, you have c time function, you have time function, you have local time function. Okay, so the working of these I'll be showing you in the form of programs in a while. Okay, right? Then you have daytime. Daytime is again a module. So within this module you have classes. Okay, daytime classes, time classes. Okay, a time class, date class, time delta class. Okay, so under this class, that is as part of this class, you have something called as methods, right? So the methods, the very frequently used methods under daytime are combine. Okay, for which you will have to give two inputs, d and t. D will be an object of time date, and t will be an object of class time, right? And then you have now method, today method, replace method. Okay, similarly you also have time class, okay, date class, and within date you have within date class you have two methods belonging to the date class, today and strf time. Okay, and then you have time delta class. Okay, so all these belongs to the, okay, date time module. Okay, so we have time module, date time module, and then we have, I'll be introducing you to a calendar module. And these are e-sleep, month, and calendar are basically functions of this particular module. Okay, yeah. So having said that, you have to know something called as epoch time. Epoch, it's called as an epoch time. Okay, so Unix was introduced to the whole world in the year 1970. Okay, so the amount of seconds that has been passed from this year, okay, from starting from 1970 till today, okay, the number of seconds that has been elapsed starting from 1970 till today is basically called as the epoch time. Okay, it is in terms of seconds, that is called as epoch time. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Because there is a function which will make use of that. Is that okay? Right, so this is very important. You can go research on it on the internet, you will find it. It's very simple. Okay, it's just because 1970 Unix was introduced, and from the day Unix started working on in real time, and from then, okay, till now, how much of seconds have been elapsed, that is what is told by your epoch time. Okay, right, how to find your epoch time and all, I'll show you in some time. Okay, so there are a few important points that you got to note. So first one is you have a daytime class, that is basically that will give you all the combination of both date and time, and date class will give you information only about the date. Okay, time class will give you information only about the time. Okay, and time delta is a class which will help us give the duration. Okay, duration of certain period of time. Okay, so how to make use of all this, I'll show you in some time now, right? So now let us start working with these modules. Okay, so what I've done is I've given you few examples. If suppose I want to make use of the sleep functions, c time function or time function or local time function, what is that I have to do? I have to basically import this module, isn't it? What is the name of the module? It is time. So see, if you see here, the first example, I have imported the module, import time. I've imported it over here, and within that module there is a function called as c time, which stands for current time. It will give you the current time. Okay, so this was executed on Thursday, October 22nd at 11:36 p.m. Okay, in 2020. So this is basically a C time. There is nothing to explain in this. It's only thing is you'll have to observe. Okay, now I told you about the epoch time, right? The epoch. Okay, the number of seconds elapsed. So to get the number of seconds elapsed, then you will have to make use of the time function belonging to the time module, and that I've just executed over here. You can see the number of seconds that is elapsed. Okay, so you can try this by yourself anyways, right? Now, so if suppose I want to find out what is the time. Okay, I want to, this will give you the current time. Okay, what if I want to find the time based on seconds, epoch time, right? So time dot time will give you the epoch seconds, that is this seconds. You can give any seconds for this matter. Okay, you can give that, and based on that particular, relevant to that particular seconds, when was the day and time, and all those details would be given by c time. I've given you this example also. Okay, so you can remove this from here if you wish to. Okay, see, time will give you the epoch time. Okay, you can remove this from here, and you can give some random seconds and see what will be the output. Okay, it would be fun watching that. Okay, then the other function belonging to this module, time module, is local time. Okay, even that will take you the, take the input as your epoch time, the number of seconds elapsed. Okay, so when you give that, it will return a structure like this. It will give you a structure which will give you an individual items of the year, month, time, month, time of the hour, and all those details would be given, which can be extracted later. So I've written a program for this. Okay, with local time. Let us see how to work on this. Okay, right? So basically local time will give you a structure which contains all the details about your date and times, right? So I know that I know that there is nothing, you might feel bored when you're listening to this lecture. The reason is there is nothing much to explain. They're all standard APIs or functions that you'll have to memorize and you'll have to practice and see. Okay, they're not concepts. Okay, but still, let me start off with my first program. So I'm importing the time module over here. Okay, so I'm just printing my current time. Okay, c time. Do you see that it is a c time? It is the current time. It will give you the current time. Okay, the output is given here. That is the first one. Okay, it was run on Thursday, October 22nd, 11:41. Okay, that is the output. And then we need the local time. I told you that local time will take the input of your, I mean, it will take your epoch time as the input. Okay, and then it will give you a return a structure which contains individual items which will refer to your the year, the month, the day, the hour, the minutes and seconds, and so forth. Okay, so I'm using this local time function over here and giving it the epoch time as the input. When I give this, what happens, it returns a structure. Okay, out of which I can individually remove these things and start printing it. Tm underscore year, tm underscore month, and all that. They're all items within that particular structure. Okay, so you can see that I'm printing individually all these things which I have directly got over here on the top, right? So in the form of program, if suppose I don't want all these details, I only want only a year or a month or a day, right? So I can only fetch those items by removing these things separately. Okay, so that is what it is. And then we have time dot sleep. Sleep is a function which will sleep for 10 microseconds. Okay, and you can see that over here. I'm just the output of this program. Okay, after running this code. Okay, so you can see that there would be a delay over here after printing. And after the seconds there would be a delay, and because of the sleep function, and after that delay it will print this printing after sleeping, right? That is all about this. Okay, now let us get into date time. Okay, so what is date time? Let us see here. So we discussed all the functions belonging to the time module, right? Now we have, and I would suggest you to please practice this. Just practice and see how it works. It is difficult for you to memorize all these things until you practice it on a, or when you really work on a project. Okay, but just know that you know how it works. You need not even by heart the parameters and all that. You can go through Python documentation to see what are the parameters that it will actually receive and all those things. Okay, now getting to the next module, that is daytime. Okay, so I want to work with daytime module. I will make use of all these classes. Now let us see how to work with all these classes. Okay, so if I want to work on daytime module, I will have to import this. Okay, so that is the reason I have in this program I have written, okay, from that module daytime import all. Okay, right? Now once I've imported all, then I will start using those functions. Okay, if you can see, I have a function called as now. I have a function called as now. Quickly give me a moment. Okay, so did you see that I have a function called as now over here? I mean, that is basically a method. Okay, belonging to which class? It belongs to the class datetime. Okay, so what will this now do? Let me come to that program over here. Okay, so I am making use of this now method belonging to the datetime class. Okay, so when I use this method, what will happen? I will get a date object. Sorry, datetime object, because it is datetime, right? I'll be getting a datetime object. Okay, so with which will deal with, see, did you remember I told you over here what datetime will do? Datetime class handles combination of date and time. Okay, and there is a separate class called as date which will handle only dates, and there is a separate class called as time which will handle only time. So now because we are working with datetime class, it will handle both date and time. Okay, let us see how I'm working with it. Right now, when I say now, it will give me an object and printing that object, and the output would be both the date part as well as the time part. Did you see that there is a date and there is a time over here, right? So you have hours, you have minutes, you have seconds, and you have microseconds, like that. You have, this is the datetime format. Okay, now out of this I will extract individually day, month and year, because you can see D is an object of datetime class. Okay, and individually I'm extracting day, month and year, and I'm using the format function to format it in a specific format in using hyphen and all that. Okay, so hour, minute, second. Okay, I think it is self-explanatory. What is that? So it can be understood by self. Okay, it is self-explanatory. Yeah, and there is one more function called as today, sorry, method, today method. Okay, which will again give the same output as your now method. Okay, right. That is the reason I told you there is nothing much to explain in today's session. It's all about directly typing it and seeing how it works, right? Now let me go to the next program 3. In program 3 again I'm importing this, every elements of this module datetime. Okay, and you remember here I told you here, where is this here? Okay, in the class datetime. Okay, we have a separate class called as date and time. So in our current program we are basically creating the objects of both date and time. Okay, so I'll show it to you over here, program 3, right. So I'm creating a separate object for date. So I give the parameters as year, month and date. Okay, and then I have this time class where I'm creating a time object, and I'm giving this hours and minutes to it. Okay, so I have two objects, D and T. Now if I want to combine both and create a date time, right, so what will I do is I call this method of combine, which is there as part of you can see this combine. Do you remember when I introduced this, I told you we can give two parameters, of one is of type date and the other one is of time. Okay, when you pass it to combine, it will give you an object of date time. Okay, so it will contain information of both date and time together, right. So if I want to see that, I am just printing it over here after combining both, and it gets printed over here. Did you notice it? That is the first output. Okay, right. Now I'm creating a new object now, date time of date time. Okay, and when I'm creating the date time, earlier what happened was, in this program when I said date time dot now, it gave the current time. Okay, and when I said date time dot today, it gave you the current date. Okay, it was current, the current when you execute, the time when you executed it, right. What if I want to create a datetime object, okay, of some year, some month, some day and all those things I want to create it, right. For that we can make use of the constructor of datetime. Okay, and you can give these parameters, that year is 2020, month is 6, day is 24. Okay, so basically you are creating a datetime object of some random year or random date and random time. Okay, so unlike your today and now, which gave the current date and time when you were executing it. Okay, I am creating some random year, and I'm creating an object, datetime object of some random year and time. And for that you make use of the constructor, and then I'm just basically printing it. I'm showing you how to make use of this object, that's it. Okay, so I have this, I have a date 2 also, right. So I have a method called as replace. Okay, so replace method, what does it do? It basically replaces the year and hour. So from the object that I've created a datetime object over here with year 2020, month is 6, hour is 15, minute is 20 and all that. Okay, but I want to replace this year with 2019. Okay, so what is that? We have a function called as replace. Okay, let me see if I put that over here. Yes, so you have a method called as replace as part of your datetime. Okay, so when you say replace, okay, so one second, where is it? Yeah, when I said replace, right, so you will get a new object, datetime object, after replacing the year 2020, and that you can actually see the output over here. Okay, so the datetime object that I created was 2026, month is 6, day is 24 and everything is over here. Okay, but when after replacing, it becomes 2019. Did you notice it over here? The hour become 20. Okay, this is another method. Okay, right. So then we have program 4. Okay, let me see what is happening in program 4. Okay, in program 4 the same thing. Okay, right. So I'm again importing all the elements of the datetime object. Okay, and I'm creating an object of the date. When I say date dot today, it will give me an object of the current date. Okay, and if I want to organize it in a specific format like this, okay, it is now by default it is giving me in hyphen notation 2020 03 24 and all that. If suppose I wanted it to be in some other format, like say 24 comma March comma 2020 and all that, then you can actually format it using the str format time. Okay, string format time, you can use this function. Okay, and you have something called as format specifiers. Okay, which will mean different things. So if you want to know what does this %d mean, %b mean, %y mean and all that, you can actually go to this website. There is a separate website dedicated to it. Let me open that and show it to you. Okay. In my case, when I say what is there in this program, it is percent b. So what does percent b say? So percent b says month as locale's full name, so you get the complete name September. Okay, so in my case it was March, so you get the complete name March. Okay, so if you want only mar 24 comma mar, then I think you must make use of a small b, percent small b. You're getting it? And what is it I've used? Percent capital Y for year. Okay, so what does it give? Percent Y, in this case year with century is a decimal number, so it gives me the full number. If suppose you want only the last two digits of your year, then you can say small, percent small y. Okay, so these are the format specifiers available to deal with your times. Okay, so I think you can just refer to this website and make combine. You can make changes to these format specifiers and see different output for this, how differently that these dates are getting printed on the screen. Okay, that's it for daytime over here with respect to today. Okay, now then, yeah, so what is the next? Program 5. We have program 5 again, so where I'm importing the I think we are working with duration now. Yes, duration. Okay, which is a method which we use for duration, guys. Okay, which is that? So I think we have a time delta class. Correct? Now we have a class called as time delta where we can actually work with duration. Okay, I'll tell you how to work with duration. Okay, where is it? Okay, yeah, here, right? So we are importing all the elements of datetime class over here. Okay, and I'm creating a datetime object with random dates, that is 2022, the month is 2 and the date is 23, hour is 16, 45 minutes and 0 seconds. This is the datetime that I've created now, dt. Okay, now I'm creating one more object of time delta with a different I'm basically creating a duration. Okay, so check out the duration. Days is equal to 10, seconds is equal to 10, minutes is equal to 20, hours is equal to 12. Now what I want to do is I want to create a new date out of this duration. It means I want to add, okay, I want to add this new time delta date, that is your, I want to add 10 days, 10 seconds, 20 minutes, 12 hours to the original datetime that I created over here. Did you see that, guys? Okay, I want to, so what, where am I doing this? I'm doing it over here. Did you notice? Okay, so I basically, one, give me a moment. Okay, so I want to add this date, I want to add this one. Okay, and this one, it means I want to add 10 days, 10 seconds, 20 minutes, 12 hours to the original date time to this. Okay, so that I'll get a different result. Can you tell me how, what would be the new value? Okay, can you guess what would be the new value? Say for example, let us not worry about seconds. Okay, let us go with minutes. Okay, so if it is minutes, so it is 45 minutes, and if I add 20 minutes to it, what will happen? It is 16 hours, it is 45 16 hours 45 minutes, right, and 0 seconds, right? So when I add okay, when I add seconds to it, it becomes how much? 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, then I have and then I need to add minutes. When I add minutes to it, how much will this become? 45 minutes plus 20 becomes 65 minutes, right? 65 minutes. So basically it is 60 minutes, that is 1 minute 60 is what? It becomes 60. So 45 becomes 60 minutes and plus 5 extra. Correct, guys? Yes or no? So therefore, what will this become? 60. So this will become 45, 60. I think the hours will increase. Don't you think so? Hours will increase because 45 plus 20 is 65. Okay, so when it is 65 minutes, okay, so let me divide this as 60 plus 5. Okay, so 60 will become what? 1 hour extra. This is 1 hour extra. So therefore 5 minutes. Therefore it becomes 5 minutes. Okay, and the 60 would be added to 16. It means when 60 for 20 minutes are added, the hours also will increase, correct? Therefore 16 will become 17. Okay, it will become 17. Let me keep it somewhere over here. So the 16 will become 17 and the rest will be as it is. Okay, now when I add are we adding hours? Yeah, we are adding hours also. It is 12 hours I'm adding. Okay, so when I add 12 hours, what will happen? What will happen if I add 12 hours, guys? Any idea? Okay, 12 hours is nothing but 16 plus 10 is how much? 16 plus 10 becomes 26, 27, 28, 28 hours. Okay, so 28 hours, let me put it over here, 28 hours. Okay, so we have 24 hours in a day. So 24 plus 4. Okay, so it becomes 4 hours, right? So are we adding it over here? 28 plus 20. one second. So it is 20 hours is 12. So how much was there hours? 20, what was the earlier? It was 16. Sorry. This is 23 is the date, right? Yeah, 16. 16, it was 17. Okay. We had added this 17, right? We should not add it to the 16. We are supposed to add it to 17, right? So 17 plus 12, which is nothing but 29, right? 29. So 29 is nothing but 24 plus 5, correct? So 24 hours and 5 hours extra, right? So that 5 hours will get added. So it becomes, how much does this become? This becomes 5 hours, okay, extra 5 hours, and this one day will get added to this 23. Okay, that is, it becomes 24 then. So let me keep 24 separately aside. So this becomes 24, and then I'm adding how many more days? I'm adding 10 more days, correct? So I'm adding 10 more days. So when I add 10 more days, what does it become, guys? Okay, so 10 more days is from 24, right? So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5. Okay, so therefore it is 5 days. So it becomes 23rd, because February has 29 days. So adding 23 plus 10 becomes how much? 5, right? So it becomes 5, and we have moved to the next month. Therefore, this will become 3, and year will be 2020 itself. I know it's a bit a complicated calculation, but very simple. If you use your logic, it's very simple. Okay, no? Guys, I think you have understood this. Else, you can message me in the group. I will explain you how this works. Okay, just a small thought will help you understand this. Let me see if I get the same output. Yeah, we got 2020, we got 3, then 5, and this 5, 5, and 10. Okay, so start from seconds. Okay, and then you can move behind, like from seconds, then minutes, then hours, and then days, and then month, and then year. Okay, when you keep, so when you change the minutes, okay, so if there is some when it crosses 60, then you can add it to the hours. Okay, when the hours crosses, then you can add it to the day. It's like this. Okay, so adding this duration, so using time delta, you basically create durations, right? So this duration of time, you're adding it with the already existing date time object, so you get the output like this. Is that okay, guys? Yeah, if not, just post that in the group, I'll help you out. Okay, yeah. No. Okay. Right. So program 6, again, I'm creating three date objects. Okay. That is date 2018 to 23, 2018 to 24, 2018, 122. All this is year, this is month, and this is day. Okay. So I'm creating three date objects, and I'm just seeing if both the dates are equal or not. So date 1 is equal to date 2. Date 1 is equal to date 2 becomes false because they are not equal. Okay. And then I have date 2 is greater than date 3. Date 2 is greater than date 3. Date 2 is greater than date 3. Yes, it is greater than date 3. Therefore, I'd say 2018 2 is greater than date 3. That is this thing. Correct. These are very simple, guys. Nothing much to explain. All self-explanatory. Only thing is you'll have to work by yourself just to see how it works, right? So then we have one more interesting problem. Okay, so where we are using calendar module. From calendar module, we are using these functions. Okay, so we have a function called as eSleep. eSleep is a function which will, when given an year to it, it will check whether a given year is leap year or not. Okay, and then we have a month function. When you give, when you give the year and the month, I think enter the month and year, right? When you give year and month, it will actually give you the string format of this particular month. It will give you the string format of this month. I'll show you the output. Okay, and I'm just printing that string, so it will give you that month of that particular year. It will print it very nicely. Okay, and then you have a calendar, so you're supposed to say which year, how many okay, these things you just change and see, you'll see the output. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with the calendar, but it is used for the beautification, right? So it says how many width should be there between two lines, and how many lines in one line, I mean, what is the thickness of that line, and all this is called as columns, and how many months should be printed at a time. Okay, so all these are used for beautification purpose. Okay, so these are decorative purposes, right? So you can just change these things and see how the output differs. Okay, but this function, that is basically calendar, is basically used to create it will print your calendar in a very nice format. This entire statement will print the calendar. Okay, I'll show that to you now right away. Okay, so I think vi 7.py. Okay, this is the same thing. It is first asking me for an enter the year. I will enter an year, and then it is asking me for entering the month, so that it will print the month, and then it will also print the entire calendar for that particular year. Okay, so let me run this code. Okay, it is asking for the year. Let me write 2020. So it checked whether 2020 is a leap year or not. 2020 is a leap year, so it has given me the output. Then it is asking me for the month, so I'll print 2. Okay, and if you can see here, okay, 2, it has given the entire month. It has been printed in the string format. It is printed over here. Okay, and then the year has been printed using the calendar function. The entire year will be printed. Okay, that's it guys. So it's a very small topic, but if you're interested, you can go more detail into Python documentation and go and check all the APIs. There are many APIs and there are many functions available as part of data and times, okay, which you cannot memorize, but only when you keep working on it you will be understanding it. Okay, so if you have any doubt, post in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that's it. Meet you in the next class. Take care. Bye.